Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the SCV Law and Life podcast. I'm Mason Rashtian, your host. Today we have with us John Glon, and he is a leadership team coach with Bloom Growth, helping entrepreneurs and leadership teams scale with clarity, purpose, and stronger human connection. He's also a certified working genius facilitator, helping companies scale through human flourishing. John also has his own podcast called The Roll Call, where he explores the stories behind entrepreneurs and lessons that shape them. Hi, John.
Hey, Mason. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, thank you for coming on the podcast and welcome. So, this is the first time we're meeting,
Mhm.
so I don't know much about you, so please inform us, tell us about yourself.
Well, thank you. For starters, I'm 100% human, so that's flawed and gifted and all those things. I currently live outside of Detroit in Michigan. I have a beautiful wife, Colleen, 4 kids ranging from 15 to 4. So life is full and wonderful. And as you mentioned, I am a business coach for Bloom Growth, and so I've been there, done that with a business for the past 13 years that I'm transitioning to employees. And I've known over the past 4 years, I've really found that my calling is to help raise the tides of humanity by helping through entrepreneurism. So I believe entrepreneurs, or any version you want to call that, anyone with the guts to start a business and employ people, are the superpower behind our certainly the U.S. and I think really the world. That's how the world goes round, is by people having businesses that can employ others, and in doing so, the more they can scale and grow in a meaningful way and grow and scale themselves as humans, um, then the world will only benefit. So that's what I'm here for.
Okay. So, as a business coach, do you have a particular area or do you work with all types of business?
So really, I am in that small and medium business space, right? So it's business agnostic. So any business can use the standard. It's an operating system. Bloom Growth is an operating system, right? It's a means to mindfully grow and scale a company again, and the backbone of it is really the human element and increasing human trust, to have the owner and founder not be the one that's in the middle of everything. And so bottom line, it's business agnostic. That said, small to medium businesses, which I'll say in the $5 to $50 million range, are really the target, or 10 to 250 employees, because one, they're large enough to have complexity that the wheels could be falling off and starting to having more people, maybe layers of people in the business. And then on the larger side, right, they've gotten to that size by having some form of process or some form of way that they're doing business, that's manageable. And again, those larger ones can still use the same methodologies. It's just, again, the complexities are a little different. So it's really about the nature of the business, the size of the business. So I have construction companies, IT companies, marketing service companies, manufacturing, printing, really attorney space, right? It's really applicable to any industry.
So, I can tell you, I'm a solo practitioner as a
Mhm.
personal injury attorney. But right after the pandemic, I started using a business coach and it's helped a lot. I was
Mm.
skeptical in the beginning, and I'm sure you get that a lot.
Yes.
So, what do you say to somebody who's skeptic about, hey, I don't know if I need a business coach. I don't know. They don't work in the field I work in. What do you tell those people?
It's a really great question. One, I will say, have you ever heard of Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Venus Williams? Um, just her name's escaping me. The gymnast, the best it's ever lived. All of them, the best, and all of them can be considered the best in their field at what they do of all time. Goats. They all have coaches. No matter what, the best of the best always have a coach to help them see their blind spots, to help them see the things that they don't see themselves, because we can't, it's not possible for us to see all things that are possible. We limit ourselves as humans. And so call it whatever you'd like, mentor, coach, whatever. I think that Anyone and everyone needs a version of it. And I will say this, if you're paying for it, you just may actually do more, right? Because many of us have mentees and or have mentors and things like that, which are great to learn. But to go to the next level, it's a psychological thing. If we're actually paying for a next level, and it's scary for you to pay them, right? Because like you were mentioning, you started a few years ago. If it was easy, everyone would do it. If it was a layup, you might not take it seriously. And I've been there. I've been guilty, right? I've had a lot of coaches in my time, and I've paid for a lot of people absently, right? If it wasn't enough to make it hurt a little bit,
Mhm.
or if it was like, what am I doing here? It wasn't worth it. So that's what I would say.
Yeah, I mean, for all those people who may be skeptic, it's not the way they know your business; it's the way they help you do the business.
Right.
And I was looking at actually was watching one of your episodes and talking about the why. That was the first thing that came up, and that was the first thing we did when we started.
Mm-hmm.
What's my why? Yes.
Yeah. Why do we get up every day, right? It's not about the dollars that show up. It's nice, but that runs out, and you're gonna run yourself ragged. And the end game. It's all about what the definition of success is, right? If it's money, you'll continue to work. You'll continue to work. You'll ignore those around you, whether it be family, whether it be business. The wake behind that is pretty significant, right? Boats are capsizing and all that from your wake. But defining your why and why you are doing what you're doing, defining what success means to you, it's different things to different people. But most entrepreneurs, they come to a realization at some point that it's not all about the money. And sometimes it's way too late in life to find that realization. They're burnt out, et cetera. They've left a really good opportunity because they're just burnt out. It's about defining what that success is. And actually, and thank you, you hit on something that I forgot to mention, that right, coach is not consultant. You're like, hey, what if someone doesn't know my business? To me, knows your business and can help fix things in your business based on their knowledge is a consultant. That means I tell you what to go do. I'm not suggesting that I am that. I don't intend to, come across as that. A coach is what you actually said really well, is they help you figure out the right thing for you. A coach asks questions. A consultant consults and tells, right? That doesn't mean I don't have experience. That doesn't mean at some points I don't provide my expertise. But most of it is me helping pull out of the leadership teams that I work with what they really want. And again, a lot of that time they don't know what they really want. And so it's just that voice of that third party person just pushing a little bit. My job is to make people uncomfortable.
Right. Are
And
you? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
go ahead.
No, go ahead. Are you able to give us a small example of the stuff you've done with a potential client and how they changed your business?
Absolutely. I find myself, maybe it's by happenstance, maybe it's just by the nature of, but dealing with a lot of family businesses. And I have a number of examples where it's harder to have a real conversation with someone you love in the business. And it all started from the right things, right? Your heart is in it because you're trying to help that family member be a part of the business and grow in the family. That doesn't mean they're always the right fit in the business. It doesn't mean that they need to have a title in the business, but if left alone to our vices, our emotions let us make those decisions, and they put people in positions that are not serving them or the company. And so a lot of times those conversations they're avoided, and it just becomes a rat nest of emotion that, one, they can be estranged from each other, from the family. And this is where it was happening. We were getting to the point where it was really hurting their family dynamic and their brother and sister. And it was because one was elevated to a position that, again, it was out of love. It wasn't a bad thing, but it wasn't serving each other. It wasn't serving the business. And it was deteriorating their relationship and really, really not helping the business. And so my role in it was just getting and sitting in a conversation with them. And by the way, they're boisterous people. So they are meetings were fraught previously with yelling and talking over each other, and then it ends. And again, part of the process and the things that we work through is understanding where each are coming from, why they're acting the way they are, and getting some of the ego out of the way and understanding this is all in love, but it's not serving. And that was the conversation. Was we found out is not that the owner didn't have to fire or demote the sister. It was a real conversation about, wow, she said, I'm really not happy doing this job. I want to help you. I want to serve you. But, she thought she needed to be in all the conversations, right? In the leadership team. And the realization was, no, I don't have to be. And gosh, you know what? I really don't want to. I thought I was doing it to try to help you. But when you're saying it's not helping, then let me go do the thing that I'm really great at. And now they're taking off. And, that's the stuff that me as a third party listening to the unsaid most of the time to get clearer and clear through it. Because again, if left to their own vices, they know how to communicate in the way they know how to communicate. And, sometimes it's just helping them communicate it in a way that is not detrimental to each other.
Okay, so it's putting the right people in the right place to do what needs to be done for the company in a way, right?
That's always the mission. Always the conversation that we have is around people. And the only way to scale a company is through people and the right people that'll get you there.
Do you also help them with vision statements and mission statements?
So we're, a part of the whole journey is the Bloom Growth Operating System itself, right, is a way to get the entire team rowing in the same direction. And how you do that is, again, with core values, we use different names, but right, the mission statement or the North Star in a way. So we all know what we're trying to get to. And all about having the same common language. What do we do? Why do we do it? How do we do it? Again, why are we all here to do this together as a business and not about just lining the pockets of the owner? And it's really defining down in what that long-term vision is and then distilling it down into more bite-sized chunks. What's it look like 3 years from now? What's it look like 1 year from now? What's it look like in 90 days? How do we start taking chunks out of that elephant, right? And most of the time, most business owners, that's all up in their head, right? They know what they want, or they say, I say it all the time. Yeah, but not everyone in the organization knows what you're trying to accomplish. So number one, let's just get it documented and share it with everyone. Like that's the step one. And I would say 2% of companies do that of the small and medium, because they just, most of us just have an idea and expertise. And so we're like, I can start a business with this. And so we go do that. That's what we do. And then the business just forms around us in whatever fashion that is. So we have an operating system. We have core values. We have things already. They're just not stated. We're just doing it the way we're doing it. So at minimum, we're just writing it down and we're sharing with others so they all know what direction we're headed.
Yeah, I can tell you, ever since I put my core values together, we follow it. So every time I get a client and me and my assistant talk about it, is this person gonna match our core values? And if they don't, we don't take them. Plain and simple.
Great. What was it that for you? What was it that you use? Because I'll define something a little bit. What made you guys start doing that?
Doing the core value? It's just what you said, writing it down, having a clear vision of what I want my firm to be.
Yeah.
Right. The very first core value is ethics. I can tell you right now, there are a lot of attorneys out there who are not following what they're supposed to be doing ethically.
Right.
So, and sometimes you get clients who do that. So if we get a client who we don't think fits that, or no, we don't want them. The next one is communication, right? We want to communicate with them and we want to have respect for them, but we also ask for respect in return. So if you get a client that's not respectful to my team, no, they're out, because it goes both ways.
Right. And I think that's what I love is that, again, most people, whether they're self-reading a book or, again, most people, they think they know what core values are. They try to put them in their company and they may slap them on their website, but that's where it stops. Really core values are a people filter. And then once people understand that, then most people are literally just focused on their own people, right? Because that's one thing, whether it be EOS or some other operating systems, that's what we're taught to use them for, right? To as a measure for our internal people, to make sure they fit our core values. And then you worry about what seat they're in, right? Is it right person core value wise? And then are they in the right seat, to what you were saying earlier? But most people stop there and they don't take that next step of taking that people filter and applying it towards their towards their vendors that they deal with or their clients. And they wonder why it's so difficult to do business with certain people. Actually, one of the other great things that I love doing, and actually, and two of my clients that I recall within our first 2 sessions that we did together, one of the favorite things that I got to do was help them realize to fire a customer. Because all I would hear about is how they're treating their people terribly, taking up all their resources. Now the owner has to make a phone call in order to calm things down. And they realize not all in the beginning, everybody, we think we need all the revenue we can get. But once we got to fire that client in a meaningful way, we talked through that, this wasn't a great fit for each other. They thought they were scared to. They thought they needed that revenue, but it freed up their time and energy to go get another client. And again, how you want people to be able to come to work and enjoy it. Back to the why. Other people make it not enjoyable. It can be the company can be the best thing ever, and everybody loves working with each other. But you insert a toxic client, and it just erodes everyone's job. And actually, at that point, the person that was handling that client, they wanted to leave the job. They wanted to leave the company. And we thought maybe it was because they weren't a good core value fit. They weren't good at their job. And it was I hate coming to work because this guy is up my rear end all the time. And I hate it. And again, I call it multiplication by subtraction, not addition by subtraction. Once that toxicity goes, right, everyone take the lid off.
So how can people get a hold of you?
You can look me up. I'm on LinkedIn. That's my name, my spelling, John Glon. I'm on Instagram, glon.john, Facebook. I am through, you can search Bloom Growth and then John Glon as a coach on Google. Email, I'll give you everything, john.g@bloomgrowthcoach.com. And absolutely try me on my cell, 248-534-8503.
Sure.
Happy to connect.
Now, tell us about your podcast.
So my podcast, thank you, by the way, Mason, is called The Roll Call. And it is about the roles that we play as entrepreneurs. It's an entrepreneur-focused podcast where, I guess I love celebrating the stories of entrepreneurs. We all have a different one to get there. It's generally all wacky and filled with all kinds of different things. Most of us didn't just wake up and all of a sudden we're an entrepreneur, or it was in our genes and we knew that's what we wanted to do. It takes trials and tribulations. And so it's all about entrepreneurs, but then it's all about the roles that we play in the business and how that grows and morphs. And then in our life, at home, in our community. And so I would welcome anyone to listen to that. There's great nuggets to learn from other people in that podcast. And it's a heck of a good time.
And it's on Spotify, right?
Oh yeah, it's on Spotify. It's on YouTube because we do videos, and iTunes, etc. So it's called The Roll Call with John Glon. ROL.
Yeah. So just be careful. There's a lot of roll calls I noticed. So
Yeah.
make sure you put John Glon. Otherwise, you're gonna get a bunch of roll call this, roll call that. I noticed that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. A little play on words too, right? The roles we play, ROLE.
Yeah. So tell us a little about yourself. Tell us about John. What does he like to do? What are your hobbies, your passions?
Oh, thanks.
And you got 4 kids. I know that.
I do have 4 kids. We're a sports family. I'm a sports guy, so I love all things sports. So I'm spend a lot of time at my kids' events. Spend a lot of time coaching. Really up until they're about in 8th grade, because then I'm really capped at my my ability. But kind of whatever season it's in. Now that my oldest son is my oldest son's in high school. Then I have a daughter that's in 7th grade, and then a 7 and a 4-year-old boy. And so we're now getting back into me being coach dad for every sport, whatever sport they're in. And again, up until my experience level is capped. So a lot of that, I really, really love golf. Not that I'm good, but I just love the aspect of being out in nature and really it's one-on-one, right? No one else is going to come save you. Just like entrepreneurship, no one's going to come save you in there. Golf is, you're the one swinging the club. So I love the ups and the downs of that. And I'm really on my own journey of getting out of my own way is really more of a thing that I've been working on through the years of again exercising my own demons and exercising my own scabs and learnings and believing.
Yeah. Are you following the professional sports in your team? Yeah.
Absolutely. So
They got the Pistons right now, number one. They've been Eastern Conference all
yes,
season long.
yeah. So I grew up in Indiana, northern Indiana, and I grew up a Bulls fan because where I grew up, I didn't have cable, but my friends did, and the Bulls were always on. And what do you know? That was Michael Jordan era. So I was a Bulls fan. Easy enough, right? They're winning all the time. And I grew up a Packers fan because again, they were on local TV for some reason when the Bears weren't. And so where I lived, it was Chicago, Detroit, and Indianapolis were all equidistant. Everybody else were those fans, and I became a Packers fan. And so I've always had I had Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers essentially for my career. Now I'm going to have Jordan Love. So it's been an easy to be a fan there. I met my wife at Purdue, and then she's from Michigan, so they always win. So here's where now we live here, and I will for life. And so I have become, I am a Lions fan. Even with the Packers, I'm happy with whoever wins because it's I've had season tickets for a number of years, and the Pistons has been fun because all my boys love basketball, and my 7-year-old loves basketball. And again, the Pistons have not been. They've been in the cellar for a long time, so we better be number one with all the lottery picks we've had over the past few years. But it's been a ton of fun, and actually, we got to sneak away on Friday and surprise the two little ones to go to the game on Friday. They ended up winning in overtime, which was a ton of fun, and they got on the jumbotron, so they were so yeah, a ton of fun.
So, what do you think about Matthew Stafford and Jared Goff? So, what's your thought?
That has been one of the greatest stories in my opinion, because everyone loved Matthew Stafford at that time, right? The Lions organization, not in a great place, hasn't been for years and years and years, which has again made it even easier to be a Packers fan. Trading him away, I think it's just a wonderful story. They won the Super Bowl. He's happy. Again, he had his personal life with his wife, like that, one, they love being there, but they also show a ton of love for Detroit continually. His wife continually does, and Matt continually does. I think it's awesome. It was a win for the Rams. The Lions got a bunch in return, and Jared Goff wasn't a castaway. He wasn't a throwaway. He ended up proving it, and that's what's been so fun about here in Detroit. I love the persona of the grit and the pride in Detroit. There are so many, like actually David Montgomery just got traded, and he didn't want to, right? He wasn't drafted here, but it became home for him. Jared Goff, everyone, now they chant Jared Goff here. I don't know if you've even heard that, but they just do random Jared Goff chants because everyone said he was a castaway, and he's brought them, not quite to the big game yet, but it's been, again, great for him. I have a feeling that his career might have taken a different turn had he not come here, being with the right example, the right people here. And it's been great for Matt. So I think it's been, now there's some frustration because now the expectation that the Lions should be winning every time. So that's cool, but also the same frustration when they don't. So
the one thing I'll tell your coach is kick those damn field goals. Stop going on fourth down. So you heard that before. Anyways, so let me ask you this. As you sit here today, if you meet your 10-year-old John Glon, what advice would you give him?
You're good enough, no matter what. Whatever you're feeling in your heart, go do it. Don't worry about what other people want or think. I've been spending the most of my adult life trying to get back to that. Because I think that gets beaten out of us. Not in that physical way, but I know. Society tamps us down from that.
Okay. So tell us once again how people can get a hold of you.
Again, all through social media, with my LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. Again, email john.g@bloomgrowthcoach.com. And I will reiterate my cell phone. Please give me a call, 248-534-8503.
And please check out his podcast called The Role, ROLE, Call with John Glon.
Yeah, and if anyone would like to be a guest that has a good entrepreneurial story to tell,
Great.
shoot me a note. We'll get you on.
Thank you for being a guest, John. And for everybody else who's listening, if you like this episode, please like and subscribe. Thank you again.
Mason,
Take care,
thanks.
John.
Appreciate it.